The third-generation Corvette may be the most underrated shape in the entire American muscle car landscape. Ready-made for Restomod duty, it delivers the style of a golden-era poster car with chassis bones that respond beautifully to modern upgrades. This particular example is stock number 137123, a final year 1982 coupe, and every inch of it reflects a no-compromise professional restoration. Wearing a custom two-stage Cadillac Sage Metallic finish, laid down by Vastine's Paint Garage out of Royse City, Texas, this C3 walks the line between tasteful and menacing. The sage green catches sunlight with an almost satin depth, and the solid fiberglass body shows the kind of panel prep you only get from a shop that actually cares. Satin black grills and extractors keep the styling modern.
So the third generation Corvette, in a lot of people's opinions, including mine, is one of the most underrated classics in the collector car market. The reason being,
Look closer, and the details come into focus. Detroit Speed electric headlights replace the vacuum-operated originals. Mirrored T-tops add drama up top, and body-matched mirrors plus clear markers clean up the exterior clutter. The rubber bumper bodywork dates the car to its final year, but every other decision on the build pushes straight into the modern era of Restomod Corvettes.
in addition to inspiring the third generation Corvette, the Mako Shark 2 actually inspired quite a few cars or features on cars from several.
Down at each corner sit Billet Specialties G-Spec forged wheels, 18 by up front and 19 by out back, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Super Sport rubber in 255/40 and 285/35. Behind those bronze spokes live Baer six-piston calipers on drilled and slotted rotors at all four corners, a brake package that alone retails right around $4,500.
Restomod theme, this is a Chevrolet Performance LS376 525. So it's a LS conversion. It's one of the best LS conversions. 376 is the displacement of the block, 6.2 liters. 525 is the horsepower. So this is basically a factory engineered piece that you can plug.
Pop the hood and the heart of this build comes into view. A Chevrolet Performance LS376 525. 6.2 liters of crate motor goodness, rated at 525 horsepower and 486 pound-feet of torque, with 10/7-to-1 compression. That is a 262% horsepower gain over the original 200-horse small block this coupe left Bowling Green with.
Follow that up with a RideTech rear suspension. Some nice truss design work here. Lightens things up a little.
The engine breathes through L92 style heads and a hydraulic ASA cam, the kind of lope-specific camshaft GM engineered specifically to give crate motors the cadence of a real hot rod without the tuning headaches. A conical filter feeds a Holley intake with matching fuel rails, and factory LS exhaust manifolds dump into a true dual system backed by Borla Pro XS mufflers, a combination that keeps things civil at idle and absolutely vicious under throttle. Accessory drive is a polished billet serpentine, and a Baer master cylinder anchors the brake system up front. Cooling duties fall to an aluminum radiator fed by dual SPAL electric fans, and wiring is kept clean and modern, so the whole bay presents like a professionally detailed showpiece. Everything in here was chosen to play together because the powertrain came to the shop as a connect and cruise package, engineered and wired as a complete turnkey drivetrain straight from Chevrolet Performance. Backing the LS3 is a 4L70E 4-speed automatic, part of that same connect and cruise combination. Behind the trans, power routes into a Dana 44 with a set of 3.55 gears, a final drive ratio that keeps highway cruising relaxed while still giving the LS plenty of mechanical leverage off the line. Connect and Cruise combinations are engineered as complete kits, which means this drivetrain runs cleaner, shifts smoother, and diagnoses easier than any piecemeal swap. The chassis work is where this build really separates itself from a driveway LS swap. Up front lives a RideTech TruTurn system, a bolt-in front clip that modernizes geometry, steering response, and brake clearance. The rear suspension moves to RideTech MUSCLEbars. A quartet of RideTech coilovers handles spring and damping at all four corners, and the result is a car that changes direction with a confidence no original C3 ever had. Step inside, and the Restomod philosophy continues. Custom Sage Green Ultraleather wraps a pair of tall bucket seats that hug you in the corners without feeling like a track day afterthought. Stitching is clean, every panel is symmetric, and the color palette flows directly from the exterior paint to the interior trim. A billet steering wheel sits on a tilt column, and a polished shifter handles gear selection in a way the original column-shifted automatic never could. Instrumentation is a full Dakota Digital VHX setup, blending the feel of a vintage gauge cluster with crisp digital precision underneath. Audio flows through an Alpine head unit tucked into the restyled center stack. Climate control is courtesy of Vintage Air, and power windows and locks make daily driving duty a non-issue. Even the rear parcel area and door panels got reworked to match the overall aesthetic. Raise the car on the lift, and you see the other half of the build, the half that most Restomods never bother to finish. The entire undercarriage is detailed, the exhaust is routed cleanly, the differential is dressed, and every suspension component looks factory spec because the components are factory spec, just from RideTech instead of St. Louis, Missouri in 1982. This is how a proper Restomod looks from underneath. Showing just 174 miles on the odometer since completion, this 1982 Corvette was driven just enough to be sorted, dialed in, and proven on the road. With 6 figures worth of parts and labor, Cadillac Sage Metallic paint, a 525 horsepower LS3 heartbeat, Baer brakes, RideTech suspension, Billet Specialties wheels, and a factory-level fit and finish inside and out, it represents exactly what the third-generation Corvette was always capable of becoming. From the way this 1982 Corvette sits, to the way it sounds, to the way every detail from the Cadillac Sage paint to the matching ultra-leather interior ties together, this is a Restomod executed with real discipline. It is proof that the C3 deserves the same respect now being lavished on C1 and C2 builds, and proof that 1982 is not the ending chapter of this generation, but the foundation for some of its best reinventions. If you love classic Restomods like this one, hit that subscribe button, tap the thumbs up if this build earned your respect, and drop a comment letting us know whether the C3 Sugar Scoop is the most underrated muscle-era silhouette ever built. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the Restomod dream alive.